All right, all right, all right. I admit it. It's not that impressive. Yet. Hey, hey, friends and revolutionaries! Back with a new, back with a video that, you know, this really should be the first in a whole new line of videos, or video titled, "I should have got to it earlier." It's something where after RoboCop and now with this one, I really start to realize that I've got quite a bit of stuff that I should have got to earlier. and in this case, because Arkham Origins is out, I don't have it yet, it's on my Christmas list. Because it's out, and before I get it and dive into it, I figured it was time for me to go ahead and knock out the Arkham City figures that I've had sitting on my shelf. Very cool figures, some of the last that were produced under the DC Direct logo, but I never did. I never got to them. I've got all of Season 1 and most of Series 2. Series 3 was just too piecemeal for me to ever get anything out of it. But yeah, I figured it was time. Before I move on to Arkham Origins and get some of the figures I've seen there, I want to go ahead and finally get to something I should have got to before. Something I should have gotten to earlier. And that is the Batman Series 1, Batman Arkham City Series 1, Figure 1, Harley Quinn. Now, it doesn't actually say Figure 1, but when you look at the figures that are in the set, of course, there's Harley, the Infected Batman, and Robin. And at one point, we did go ahead and do the reviews for Harley and Robin, and for Mattel's version, and I had said at that time that I really thought that Mattel had knocked it out of the park between the two of them. Now, I hadn't gotten Harley out of her pack yet. I still haven't seen this figure in hand, save, you know, through the plastic. So I could be wrong. I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Harley or Robin may actually be better than Mattel versions. We'll find out. The Infected Batman, of course, that's a DC Direct character, or so far. The write-up, we've got the Batman Arkham City. Arkham City introduces Batman Arkham City introduces Arkham City. Well, how about that? The newest maximum security home for all of Gotham City's thugs, gangsters, and insane criminal masterminds. This heavily fortified, sprawling district in the heart of Gotham City becomes the ultimate battleground between the Dark Knight and his greatest adversaries as he untangles a web of intrigue that threatens to tear the city apart. Batman's supporting cast is transformed by the new locale into a stronger and more dangerous set of enemies and allies, and they'll push him to his limit and beyond. That was true. Gotham City was a great game. It scaled everything up from Batman Arkham Asylum. So it was definitely a game that earned every award it got. As a matter of fact, there were some awards that it should have gotten, particularly in the way of voice acting, that it didn't. But it's something where this was far and away one of the best games the year it came out. It still is a great game now. Because it is a sequel to Arkham Asylum, they did bring back the Bat Cowl Bubble, which I think is great. Got kind of the oval head shape with the bat ears. That's really cool. And they did add in the background of the city. The foggy, misty, dark Gotham City, or Arkham City as it may be. On the card, we already kind of took a look. They got the Batman logo, the Arkham logo for Batman, Harley Quinn, Series 1 collectible action figure. Collector's action figure. It's going to be something where we're going to get her out of the pack, we're going to take a look at Harley, match her up to the Mattel version, and really find out who came away with the best version. But stick around, we're going to pop her out of the pack and have some fun. Be right back. Alright, we've got Harley out of her pack, and yeah, we can now say, I can say personally that for me, yeah, Mattel really did take DC to town. I mean, they took them, knocked them down, stole their lunch, and ate it right in front of them. I mean, Mattel definitely came out the winner in the Harley figure production. Which is a shame because really, other than one thing that I think is probably just on my figure, other than that, there's not a whole lot bad going on here. For at least most of the figure. Most of the Harley actually looks pretty good. There's still some areas where I think Mattel did a better job. But when you look at the head and the head, I'm not gonna just narrow it down to the face. But the overall head, I don't know. I don't know if it was rushed. I don't know if it was just phoned in. I'm not entirely sure. But the entire head on this figure, and you know, I wouldn't even say that. The head is a big part of it. The head is a big part of it because I mean, when you look, yeah, the design is all there. It's got all the kind of, and my camera's not focusing. Come on, there we go. It's got all the biker leather buckles, straps, all the stuff that Harley has, and it's got all of her goth kind of biker chick costume elements. It's all there. It's just somehow not done as well. I normally like to say first and always good things, but when you compare the DC, once you've seen the Mattel version, you know, it's hard to really point out where good things are done. Other than the fact they've done a good job making it, they certainly didn't surpass Mattel in its design and how well it turned out. First off, the face. Again, the face is certainly going to be the weakest part of it. You know, Harley for Arkham City completely lost her mask. They completely left out that domino mask. And it's just her pale face. But one thing Arkham City Design did do was that they put a shadow across it so that it worked almost like a mask. It was just makeup that she wore, but it was across her eyes. And here, all they've really done is given her this dark, dark eyeliner. It really doesn't do the design justice. It doesn't look as nice. Also, her face is actually, I mean, it's really, really overdone. I mean, let me, if I bring in, because I love bringing in this figure, the Arkham Asylum Harley, which without a doubt still stands as probably one of my favorite in this scale of the Harley Quinns. She is great. The mask aside, you can really see that on the Arkham Asylum Harley, you know, they've got the amount of makeup on her face, the blush. They've got just the right amounts. You know, so she's got some personality in her face. Here, that just deer in a headlight stare. There's no emotion in the face whatsoever. And it's just kind of this complete pale paint all over her front, all over the cheeks. Yeah, I mean, even its predecessor from DC Direct really shows that this was a step down in Harley, which is really disappointing from DC Direct. DC Direct is supposed to be better than this. I said the colors, the design on the costume, all that's really good. You know, the lines, the textures. You can kind of see on the back where her straps on her back are pulling at the fabric. I like that. I like those details. I really do. She's got kind of a loose belt. not quite as revealing as the Arkham Asylum was, but she does have the loose belt, so that when you move it, you can look underneath, and you can see she's got the Joker tattoo. She also has the tattoo on her arm, which is nice. You can almost see the line up here where the decal was applied, or where the paint was applied. But that's not my biggest complaint on this arm. My biggest complaint on the arm, and well, you know what? I'll talk about the articulation first. The articulation, she does have just a standard, twist at the head. No ball, or actually maybe a little bit of a ball joint. I don't know if that's supposed to be there, but a little bit. The arms come up and out, and they seem to come further away from the body than they tuck close to it. It's not bad, it just doesn't come all the way up to the side, but it'll come out pretty far. Twist the shoulder, twist right above the elbow, twist the elbow, or a hinge at the elbow, and twist at the wrist, which is hidden by her 2 bracelets. And you know me, I love when they hide articulation. On this side, when you look, the arm is quite pristine, nicely sculpted, looks good. On this side, I seem to have a bit of a crack. Looks like there's a bit of a crack on her shoulder there. So far, it all seems to work fine. I don't plan on pushing it too hard. She's got one hand that's kind of semi-closed to hold her accessory. The other one is kind of just this cupped hand, which I at first thought was so that she could put it on her waist, but the elbow doesn't bend far enough, and the hand doesn't have a hinge for it to really take that pose. So the cupped hand, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what this would necessarily be. I guess you could probably rest the bat in her hand. Well, getting ahead of ourselves. No twist at the waist, no crunch, nothing like that. The leg does come forward and back slightly. Twist above the boot. Bend at the knee. Nothing at the foot. But that's okay. That's all right. It still looks really good. I still like the design of it, though I wish it was more in the tradition, or in the the Arkham Asylum purple, less of the black and more of the purple. I think it would have been much nicer design. It would have been better used. But I still love the way her boots look. I still like the style of the boots. Those are really, really cool. She's got her Harley diamonds on her thighs. Still a great looking figure, and certainly one you would still want to pick up if you're a Harley fan. But, again, when you compare it to the Mattel version, yeah, if you have a choice between the two, this is probably going to be your second choice. If you're like me, there is no second choice. You're going to get them both. Now, much like the Mattel version, she only comes with one accessory. And I will say, in this case, DC Direct actually did better than Mattel. The bat that she comes with, the baseball bat, it's a great looking bat. It's got the candy cane stripe along it. Got kind of the metal bracer on the top. And it's distressed in the paint, so it actually looks like it has some wood grain to it. Now, one reason why I think DC Direct did a much better job at the accessory is that it's not made of a soft plastic. This is a pretty solid piece of plastic. I mean, that's a solid piece of plastic. So there's no warp, no bend, which means it may be a little more difficult to get in and out of her hand if the hand doesn't have any give to it. But it seems to pop in fine. And again, I guess if it's, yeah, I guess that's what it's there for, is to rest Rest the bat in the other hand. Okay. All right. Okay. Harley also comes with, actually, well, as a DC Direct figure, she comes with a base. And of all the bases that DC Direct has had over the years, they've just kind of settled on these nondescript round black bases. These were so, like, everywhere with DC Direct. I don't know about DC Collectibles, but DC Direct seems to have gone just straight with these black bases. Of all the Batman bases that there have been over the years from DC Direct, you figure they could have dug something out and used just the shape of it. But instead, no, just typical black base. And she stands fine on her own. She's got one porthole underneath. If you want to put her on the base. And she stands just fine. Now, to be a little unfair about it, let's bring in the Mattel version. Let's bring the Mattel version of Harley. And I mean, just right there, right on the face, you can see, yeah, I mean, this one, for all its flaws, the curve of her mouth, you know, the ends of her mouth are turned up a little goofy. There's a little bit more red in the face than I think they needed, but it's still much better done than this one here. This one is just so blank, just so boring. The hair here, her hair just kind of cuts off like a straight cut across. You know, here it looks like it's a little more jagged, a little more rough cut. I mean, and beyond that, I mean, when you look at the costumes, again, the folds, the crimples, Mattel just did a much better job of the details. And last thing I want to point out, just because I want to point it out, is that for the Harley Quinn diamonds, for a figure that was much easier to get, it was much more mass-produced. I mean, they went through and they sculpted the diamonds onto her thighs. Here for the DC Direct version, it's just painted on. It's a very minor detail, but it really encompasses the difference between the two of these figures. You know, Mattel certainly went through and put together just an all-around nicer figure, a more detailed figure, which, if I can get her to stand up. You know, a much more detailed figure. DC Direct, I don't know what they had going for them. I don't know really what it was that they were trying to put together here. I don't know if they really considered themselves to be in competition over it. But if you're only going to be able to get one, if you're only looking to pick up one of the figures, then certainly the Mattel version came out much, much better. I would say that the DC Direct version, only if you're a Harley fan, only if you're a collector, only if you're really going to be wanting to get both. Otherwise, hey, make sure to pick up the Arkham Asylum Harley from DC Direct, because she knocks both of them out. She knocks them both away. She blows them both away. Stick around. We're going to take a look at the other DC Direct Arkham City figures, Robin and Batman, and then we'll move on to Series 2. In the meantime, hope you enjoy watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, join the revolution. We'll see you soon. Bye.